U.S. East Coast, the dock workers walked off their jobs at key ports from Maine to Texas at midnight, threatening to rattle the American economy ahead of the presidential elections and the holiday season. Now, this disruption, the first of its kind since 1977, involves approximately 45,000 members of the International Longshoremen's Association. The workers are demanding better wages and protections against automation. With the port employer's contract expired, workers are now picketing for what they believe is a fair deal. Negotiations have stalled over wage increases. Port employers raised their offer to a 50% wage increase over 6 years, up from previous 40%. In contrast, the union is demanding a 77% to resume talks. Now, shippers have already reported subcharges on shipments to East Coast ports, which could increase costs for consumers. Retailers, especially those who rely on just-in-time delivery systems, may face significant challenges. The White House is monitoring the situation closely, with calls for the administration to intervene and keep ports operational. As tensions escalate, the economic stakes are high, especially with presidential election looming just weeks away. Government intervention is possible, with President Biden having the power to suspend the strike for 80 days under the Taft-Hartley Act. However, the White House says Biden has no desire to end the strike using the act. In fact, estimates suggest that a prolonged strike could cost the U.S. economy $3.8 billion to $4.5 billion per day. With the holiday shopping season fast approaching, shortages of popular items like toys and electronics could leave shelves bare. The timing couldn't be worse. To put it into perspective, a staggering 75% of the nation's banana supply flows through these ports, alongside essential goods like cars, coffee, and seasonal decorations. Delays could impact everything from holiday gifts to everyday groceries. Analysts warn that even a one-week strike could tie up ships for longer periods, worsening shipping delays and driving up freight rates. Now, some companies are already feeling the pinch. Prices are expected to rise, particularly for high-demand holiday items, while consumers may experience frustration with delayed deliveries. The stakes are high, not just for the economy, but for families relying on timely shipments for their holiday celebrations. As the strike unfolds, consumers will need to stay informed and prepared for potential disruptions. And to explain for more on the story, our correspondent Susan Teherani has sent us this report from New York. Listen.
President Joe Biden faces a critical situation with the U.S. port strike impacting 45,000 longshoremen. The strikes began over a wage dispute between workers and port operators. Biden urges employers to present a fair offer supporting collective bargaining. A prolonged strike ultimately could lead to shortages, layoffs, and higher prices for the American consumer, affecting the U.S. economy, which is not good news in an election year. Estimated costs range from $4.5 billion to $7.5 billion each week. President Biden's options are limited, as intervening could alienate unions and harm the Democrats' election chances. With so little to go to the election. He's dispatched officials to broker a deal, but their efforts can't force an agreement. The strike's impact ultimately will depend on its duration and whether or not some kind of agreement could be reached.